Welcome, everyone, to the Howl Podcast, where we feature individuals with captivating stories and diverse backgrounds. Our goal is to bring people together by sharing inspiring perspectives and experiences that drive positive change in the world. I am your host, Nicholas Barber. Joining us today in this engaging conversation will be the one and only Nilo Sembrano, a mortgage banker who has fearlessly ventured into the world of content creation with his unique blend of financial expertise and creative prowess. Nilo aims to educate and inspire others in the future of mortgage industry and beyond. Welcome to the show, Nilo.
Thanks for having me.
This is actually our second time recording this episode due to technical difficulty. So,
I'm terrible at self-describing. I mean, you did a great job on that.
Oh man, you are the
you
man.
Make me want to
That's
meet
why.
myself. you make me want to meet myself.
Oh, I hope everyone who watches this gets a chance to, meet you and get to actually work and, maybe you get to help them in the future. Yeah. So before we get it started, Nilo, it's very exciting to have you here on the show finally. Can you take us through your journey from being a mortgage banker and stepping into the realm of content creation? Like, how does that work?
I mean, I was inspired by some of these mortgage brokers that I've, that I follow online. Like I see their social media accounts, and the way they work is, of course, content creation builds clientele for them. It generates more business. Is because they're releasing information out there that not everyone knows. The more information you get out there, the more people will listen, and the more people will follow you and become your clients. So, with doing that, I decided to apply that to my business to business endeavor and go from there. So far it works. I believe in creating content at the highest quality as possible. And getting the information out there because one, it's getting the attention, and of course it's getting the information. So I don't like to just talk about myself, do a really long introduction. Hi, my name is Neil. No, I want to get straight to the point of what we're going to talk about. And when you catch that first 2-3 seconds of attention, you have the rest.
Yeah, that's it. The power.
But these are things. Yeah, no. But these are things that of course I'd like to help. Teach others on, how to accomplish, because for me, I want everyone else to grow. We're not stepping we're not stepping on each other's toes. I want everyone else to grow. I want you to grow. I want them to grow. I just want to, keep the business rolling.
Yeah. And, for everyone who doesn't know, Nilo is, you can follow him on Only Nilo on Instagram, and you can see what we're kind of talking about here, like how he fuses the two worlds together in a way that's very informative and very helpful, actually. So it's not only visually stunning to the eyes, but it's actually stunning to the mind and to your experience as a human being, But that actually sounds like such a transformation that not a lot of people will go through. So my question is, how do you see the connection between finance and creative expression playing out in your content creation approach, I guess?
Well, it can apply to any industry. It can just apply to any industry. Whatever it is that you're selling, whatever your business is, you're going to need marketing, because you're spreading, the word of mouth. You're spreading the information. That's, spreading information requires marketing, and that's what it is. And, marketing requires art. So when you put 2 and 2 together, it's a healthy relationship.
It really is. It really is. And how do you feel people perceive that? What is the perception of the clientele in your world, right? Does the clientele want that, or do they just want information very quick?
Well, I mean, you can't have clients without information. So mainly just getting as much information as I can out there. And of course, just by doing that, it did help me build my pipeline of business. It helped me gain, new peers in my network. So yeah, I mean, and of course, having more, expanding your network, you're gonna be getting you're gonna get referrals. You're gonna there's gonna be people that are gonna want to partner up with you. So that's why like the more information I get out there, it's gonna reach out to some people, and some people are gonna reach back. It's a numbers game. So
It is really a numbers game, and you have shy of 100,000 people right now on your social media.
no, 10,000.
10,000. I mean, shy 90,000, right? So any way you look at it, you are doing a lot. He's being really humble, guys. So please check out his Instagram. But before we got there, before we got to the mass amount of people that you have right now, who you're connecting with and doing business with, where did you start, and how did that look like, just for the viewers?
I mean, for me, I started off like when I first moved to LA, like, I was thinking, oh, I'm only going to live here like 3 to 6 months, move back to NorCal and, live my life. And I mean, I first came here not knowing what to do, but I've met some people who are creative and was able to learn from them. So I was able to learn how to do the editing process of videos, how to shoot, how to make sure you capture the right quality, the right focus, how to color grade. But with that, I mean, I started applying it to the jobs that I was in, and became a marketing manager, and started using the skills that I know on how to make the company look good, how to do a prestigious presentation, just to get everyone's attention, and of course, for us to build our network and build our pipeline and generate more business. So when I started doing that, I'm like, I'm just gonna apply this to myself. Social media wise, get the information out there, and then the wheel just kept rolling, and like, here we are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something really that I want to lament here is making complex financial concepts engaging. I believe that is a completely real skill. How do you infuse creativity into your content to achieve this?
Putting it together. I mean, because I have because the company I'm with, we have loan programs that not everyone knows about. That it's not really, it's like the whole world doesn't know about it, but once they know about it, they're like, oh wow, tell me more, like. So an example of that would be like, besides, for home buyers, like they're required to be 2 years on a job. They're required to put, like this is the most common thing. They have to be 2 years in a job. They have to put 20% down. They have to have really great credit. But that's that's not what it is anymore. Like now we're getting self-employed borrowers, self-employed clients, where they're 1099, where they're like, let's say they're photographers, they're actors, they're they're shop owners, and they don't want to show the tax returns, but we're qualifying them based on the bank statements, or just their 1099 or their profit and loss statement. Now, also for current homeowners, I mean, they can buy properties out there that they can just rent out, and and they can qualify just based on what the rental survey will be, or the lease agreement. Like they don't have to show proof of income or anything like that. They don't have to show job history. Like you just have to buy a property that's going to qualify based on what your mortgage payment will be compared to the rental income. If there's enough rental income, you automatically qualify.
For the viewers, they might be thinking, oh, because the idea of getting a house in LA is such a foreign concept, I think, right? Like a lot of people are just thinking like, with these rental prices, like there's no way I'm going to get into a house. And before we get into all of that, how does Nilo help an individual get into this, the biggest purchase that someone is going to do in their lifetime? Like what service do you provide?
The real answer, I can't help an individual, but I can help a business on how to get more transaction. And those business are finding the right clients, helping their clients, because I've had brokers, I've had realtors reach out to me saying, hey, I have a client where they don't have a credit score, or they're not citizens, but they're trying to buy a house. So when they reach out to me, I do have solutions for that, where we can help them get into their new home. And that's how I come in to, to a consumer's perspective, because legally I'm business to business. I'm not a licensed realtor. I'm not a licensed loan officer. I work directly with mortgage brokers.
Yeah. So now going back, now that we have that settled, and now we're going to talk about like houses and ways that people can, make it easier on themselves or pass over this information to their friends buying a house. What are the steps do you find that the people looking for houses or property? Should we name it? Should we call it property at this point? We should just say property, huh?
Yeah, I mean, because sometimes it's not just a house. It's there's condos, there's townhomes, there's mobile homes. Like it's all different, Yeah, I mean, proper steps to that is, of course, for everyone to maintain their credit. Because the better the credit, the higher. The better the credit, the higher the credit score, the lower the interest rate, and the lower the interest rate, the lower the payment for you, and less money out of pocket when it comes to putting in a down payment. So those are the main proper steps, and know exactly what you're buying, and like what is your purpose of buying? Are you planning on living there, settling down with a family, or do you plan on renting out the property so you can receive some income? Now, when it comes to that, when you're buying a property to rent out, you want to make sure it passes everything, that there's not going to be any issues between you and tenants, because sometimes tenants, if there's issues, it's going to be a headache. So, but these are the things that you got to prepare for, especially, if you're buying, whether you're going to live in it or you're going to rent it out.
Yeah. When you say tenants, is that something that you're specifically talking to them about, your clients? Because that's a different ball game, right? That's that's ownership already, right? Like there are different laws.
Well, there is. So landlords to tenants. I mean, I've dealt with real estate investors, aka landlords, that's talked to some of my mortgage partners about buying houses, multiple houses. So some of them will say like, oh, I want to buy maybe 10 properties in this state, or 2 properties in California here and there. So when they talk to a mortgage broker, and then the mortgage broker talks to me, I give them the proper steps of exactly like how we're gonna help them qualify and how we're gonna help them close this deal. But what we want to make sure is, of course, it passes the appraisal process, it passes the inspection to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the property, and that's it. But landlords to tenants, whatever goes on between them is between them. Like we can't interfere on that.
Yeah. With you jumping or gaining new skills, let's frame it that way. With you gaining new skills to enhance enhance yourself in your own field, what have the impacts been in your content in regards to empowering and inspiring others in your industry and in others?
I mean, like, what was the impact on this?
Yeah, what impact has been happening to the people around you in your industry? Have you been inspiring people? Have people been being like, "Oh, you're raising the bar"?
No, I've had people say that. Say I did raise the bar, but the impact that I create especially for my business partners, is of course increasing their year-to-date income. So that's the main goal of it. So I've worked with loan officers where they were just used to doing regular government loans, but then once I teach them the process of non-QM, which is what I do, they're like, "Whoa!" It opens up a whole new field to them, and they're finding more clients in those categories. And we're able to close more deals, and it gives more money into their pocket. So the impact on this is increasing income. That's what's been happening.
So it's very transactional. In your field, it's viewed as very transactional. Okay. As you've ventured into content creation, what were some of the most valuable lessons you've learned along the way?
color grading, like one of those.
Fixing stuff in post.
Yeah, fix it in post. No, I mean, what I've learned is, of course, make sure everything is covered. That's what I want to make sure. I mean, because like sometimes I do videography for events here and there, weddings, parties. Sometimes like we shoot scenes for actors, but what we want to make sure is everything is covered, like all angles. Like, because if you're missing a source and you're trying to put something together in post, you're gonna regret it.
Definitely.
Man, you know how that feels.
Yeah. Oh, that's that's a discipline that transcends borders, I see. Yeah.
But what I want to make sure is, of course, capturing everything. So even when it comes to content creation, if it's let's say just like this talk right now. Right now, everything's covered. I have 2 cameras running from different angles, and I have the audio being recorded here. So I want to make sure this is covered. So, because if like let's say if I don't have the audio and I'm trying to do everything in post, I'm gonna hate myself.
I gotta be a voice actor now with all the dubbing that you're gonna do. So with you hopping on, with you learning all these skills right now, where does that lead you, Nilo? Like, is that are you gonna stay within these 2 parameters, or do we see a future of being on a camera team? Do we see you joining the ranks of the crew?
I mean, I'm able to balance both. I mean, so far I've been doing it for the past few months, and I found a way to enjoy it, and I found a way to keep my sanity. So with that, I plan on. So an example here, a lot of like production equipments that I own was because of the money from real estate transactions, and I plan on using these production equipments for to generate more real estate transactions. So it's an ongoing business.
It goes in and out, in and out.
It does. But at the same time, like if I was to say, like, let's say if I make like $10 million next year or something, right? Like, dude, we're gonna shoot some good shit. Let's work on something, get everyone paid. There's a strike right now, but hopefully, yeah.
And that's why I wanted to start this conversation with you actually on this topic, because now that the world is in the situation it is in, and people are gaining all these new skills to then propel themselves after like a economic crisis and everything. It's just, you have what you have, right? Like all these skills that you've gained, you will be keeping. So moving forward on this, that's why I ask people this question, is because what limit do we have? What limit are we putting on ourselves in this day and age, right? Like, oh, I can't learn this, I can't learn that. Do you find that people sometimes have trouble like learning new skills and applying it?
Well, there's really no limit. It depends on how you learn. So from what I've learned a while back from a sales trainer, that people are like there's different types of learning. You're either auditorial, visual, or kinesthetic. So you have to figure out which one you are. Now, if you are a visual, in order for you to learn, you have to watch it. You have to watch someone else do it. And if you're auditorial, you have to listen to somebody. So these are ways of learning. Like, our minds have unlimited amount of memories that we can learn as much as we can. Like, we shouldn't stop ourselves from doing that. So, I mean, I learned everything from YouTube University so far, recent skills, YouTube University. But like I was saying, like, it's unlimited memories. Like, we can learn as much as we can, but it has to be our way of learning.
Yeah. And I was about to bring that up too, actually. 'Cause some people, like, complain about YouTube, complain about technology, that, oh, it's ruining the world and stuff like that, which there is a point there, right? But it's also a tool. For
Yes.
example, if you gather 10 people and look at their YouTube history, what they're gonna, are you using this tool to consume media? Which, by all means, consume all the media you want. But you can kind of see how certain people utilize a tool differently than others. Like they're getting into the nitty gritty, like they're getting into like rabbit holes of these skills. Like, for example, you learned editing through, or you fine tuned your editing craft through
YouTube University.
There you go. And you can literally learn a lot. Like a lot of people in the industry here
I
definitely
mean,
use YouTube a lot.
I've learned from. I've learned from people in the industry as well. Like I learned a lot. Like the technical parts of it. Just how to make my life easier. So, yeah. But other than that, if I have a question on like, oh, how do I stabilize this shot, or how do I, color correct in this kind of format, then of course I'm gonna, open up Google Chrome and type in, and it leads me to YouTube University, and I'm in session.
It's so interesting because I feel like you're coming from this very, I don't want to say corporate, like very business oriented field, and then slowly you're being you're getting the the artist's craft. Like you're getting more technical, because a lot of people, like I have a lot of friends in real estate. I have a lot of friends in sales and corporate and stuff like that. And that's a language that I'm not gonna say everyone doesn't know. There, like it just doesn't benefit that side of the business that they're focusing on. You know what I mean? So I find that you're very distinct from certain individuals in that group. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't want to be too corporate. You want to be able to be casual. I mean, look, like the purpose of all of this is, like you're generating business partners. You're generating you're meeting business partners. You're gaining business partners. You're gaining clients, but at the same time, you want to be able to relate to everyone. So there's going to be times where I can be corporate, but yeah, no, like just keep it casual. Just keep doing what I'm doing, and if it's not broken, don't fix it.
It's kind of like being what do you call that, multilingual, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like you can talk brass tacks, and then you can talk like creative stuff. So that's really great. And something I also want to bring out here is Nilo has been working on many different projects, and I'm not too sure what I can talk about here, but one thing we can talk about is his working with some models recently.
Oh yeah,
Miss Philippines.
Miss Philippines, USA. We ran that event. We also did some for Miss Filipina International. So yeah, those are. I mean, we can talk about it.
Okay, I know, because sometimes there are NDAs involved, so I'm like,
there is, yeah. But I mean, like as of right now, we can't talk about studio works. We can't.
So how was that like? Like, how like? Because a lot of people who are not in it are like, oh my god, you're talking, you're just talking to them. That's already like mind-boggling to them. But how is it like working with people like that, coming from what you do and what you're doing now? What's the experience of that like from shooting?
From that event? I mean, it was yeah. I mean, it was a prestigious event. Like it was great. Great music, great ambience. I mean, they were serving great food, and I mean, what my team and I did is, of course, we covered press on it, and just see where the organization is going next year, and just each of these events is always every year just same thing with like Golden Globes, so same thing with the Emmys. Like, how do we make it bigger?
Oh,
just keep going. Like, what else can we do to make it bigger? Who can we add to the team? What else can we do to accomplish all of this? So, and even if it's already a big event, you're still gonna want to make it bigger.
talking about the future and how can we make stuff bigger. with you looking ahead, what is your vision for the future of the mortgage industry and the role in the role that content creation has in shaping it?
Oh, okay. So if I was to say let's say in a heel turn type of way, meaning like, like in a bad guy type of perspective, like, yeah, I'm gonna take over, But all in all, is I want to be able to accomplish as much as I can and like help everyone in my circle. And I want to be able to leave a big legacy behind, and I want my mortgage brokers, some of my partners to be like, oh yeah, like we earned more money this year, or we were able to accomplish these things because of him. So that's mainly what I want to do. And of course, if like I mentioned earlier, if I generated $10 million, we're making a project.
We're shooting international, baby.
There you go.
We're buying the team tickets. Oh, that's great. It's always great, like having those dreams and creating and making it bigger. That's always exciting. Like, how do we get bigger? Like in our history, like you've met my team, right? And we've come from like $0 budget films.
Yeah.
And just asking people like, hey, do you believe in this vision to help us out? And we got there, and then the last film we made was almost like 50 plus, and that's like bleeding, A lot of that was like upfront from us, because it's also like we want skin, like it's different if you have skin in the game, right?
Yeah.
Because in the industry you can be like, oh, loan me some money, oh, invest in me, and we'll talk about ROIs and stuff like that. But I feel like when it's your money, like when it's literally like money you could have used to buy a house, money that you could have put in down payment, it really sets the standard that I believe in my team, like I believe in that and stuff. I believe in my team. I believe in this story, because sometimes in Hollywood, right, like there are just certain stories and perspectives being told, and in that way, in putting skin in your game, it's just like, I don't know how to explain it really. Like that's just the belief I have, because some people always talk to me, like when we were on the film circuit. We still are, actually. When we were on the film circuit, people were always asking me like, oh, who were your investors? Stuff like that. Oh, and I'd tell them like we'd have crowdfunding, but we don't really want to lean on that too much. Like crowdfunding, I believe, like if you have a short film and then it's a very specific story where, so people can support you. Like, oh yeah, we'd want to see that. We'd want to help you build it. And then you get it. Because if you're like crowdfunding $100,000 or let's say $500,000 for like a feature film, like who's gonna believe in you in that when you haven't proved it yet, And with that being said, jumping to the next question, like the landscape in film, the world's landscape is always changing. It's not limited to something else, right? It's always evolving. This is in your perspective, okay? And we can have a conversation about this. Are there any emerging trends or technologies that excite you in the realm of finance and content creation?
I mean, the big thing going on right now is the whole AI thing, right? So there's the positive and negative to that. So positive thing is, it's once you get the hang of it, like it's gonna be so easy to use that you don't really, it doesn't really require much of your brain power anymore. But at the same time, like the negative part of that is it's taking over, it's taking jobs. So that's why we have this strike going on right now. It's because of that. I mean, that's one of the things, but
yeah, and I think if we're really going to talk about this, I think there are parallels here that are way more nuanced than people are really talking about. It's like, on the one hand, like what you said, it's incredible. It can be this incredible tool that can raise the possibilities of a single individual, right? It's like if you use it properly, you can actually have it help you gain knowledge, help you fulfill other tasks. But on the swing side of that, if you have a company that is employing 500 people or maybe thousands of people, and then suddenly you're delegating those tasks to AI, that's where the pain is. And with the writer's strike going on, you've got these people who make movies that make millions of dollars in profit, right? And already you could talk about like people not getting paid their worth. Like, how can a writer be on, a writer for a big TV show, especially, that's going on, that millions of people around the world are watching, and they're living like paycheck to paycheck, So that's just really the nuances of it. What other technologies beside AI do you think are gonna shake up the industry? Both of your industries, and why?
I mean, I'd say. I mean, I feel like it's already here.
Everything's already here.
It's already here, but I mean, there's gonna be like, of course, faster computers, faster calculators, and like auto calculators when it comes to getting, like, let's say, mortgage rates and calculating payments. Well, I mean, now there's systems online where you can just input like your loan amount, your credit score, and it
with the interest rate.
and it comes out with the interest rate, and it's going to give you the payments, before taxes or after taxes, and it kind of gives you an idea exactly where your payment's going to be and how much you're going to qualify. Now, these are things that's definitely going to help, especially new buyers. Like, it's going to help them on their journey of purchasing a home. So it kind of gives them an idea like what they're going to qualify for, what kind of properties they should get, and how they're going to get there. So that's going to be a big help. And of course, faster computers when it comes to, editing. I mean, you understand when it comes to editing contents, like, there's the export times, like, and it really depends on how long the video is now. And you're burning captions into it, and just faster computers and auto calculators. These are things.
Faster internet too, like with the work from home going on, and if you're editing, and if you have a team, different countries as well, and then your upload speed is 500 megabytes or 600 megabytes a second. It's faster to just send it online than travel, So I think that's also like a big thing. One thing too that I think creators and people in any field, like no matter if you're sales, you're in the property management business, I think we should champion that these technologies are always used democratically.
Yeah.
Right. That is always spread out to the most amount of people, not like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a very few individuals that are utilizing these tools, and these individuals already have like in between them probably like billions of dollars. Then it's just not fair, right? Because AI without money is kind of like, oh yeah, you can grow from that, but AI with money is influence, right? That's power and influence. Internet as well. Like, let's say if you put like a public school and a private school together, in the private school, or compare them against each other, and the private school had access to or any school. One of the other had like slow internet, the other one had way faster internet. You can see discrepancies there, and that's coming from experience from the Philippines alone, right?
Yeah.
Like moving here to America, it was like, wow, internet can go this fast. Jeez. And then when you talk about like, okay, that's a different conversation. We don't need to go there, but
Days.
we're gonna travel the world in this conversation. But your journey, has been really inspiring, because
Oh, thank you.
for people like me as well. Like I was in that, I would say, desk job. I was in that job, that 9 to 5. I was in that, like, just always thinking 2 weeks in advance, like, oh, I'm gonna get paid the next 2 weeks and stuff like that. And you found a way to keep it and live this new life, learn this new life, train in this new life, build connections on this new life, and even inspire other people. Can you tell me like what your mindset was there? Like where you were before you jumped off, and then where you are now. Like just run me through that.
I mean, it was one of the situations where you're like, like we're always waiting, paycheck to paycheck. Like to everyone, especially if you have a creative mind, just, like, I mean, keep the day job, but at the same time, like if there is an opportunity, take it, because you never know. So I took the risk of jumping into the opportunities as much as I can, just to get to where I am and where I'm going, and also like from my perspective here, based on in a world of finance, when I look into like a client's work, right? Like when we're trying to structure a deal for a client, you'll notice that. I mean, you probably know about this too because you were in sales. You'll notice that a lot of the self-employed clients that are business owners, are making way more compared to someone living, paycheck to paycheck, like someone that's working for someone. So kind of tells you like, why not work for yourself? Why not do it for yourself? I mean, you can get a contract to work for other companies, but at the same time, you're really doing everything for yourself. But you did notice that though, right? When you were back in sales, like you'll notice a lot of them are making money because they know. I mean, because either they know that the like, or they don't know that there's just going to be money coming in. Now, let's say you own a grocery store, you're receiving income every day. You don't know how much. You don't know how much exactly it's going to pay off at the end of the day, but at the same time, hey, you know what? You have enough, and you're going to have more coming in tomorrow. Instead of like, hey, I'm working for somebody, and I'm waiting for the paycheck in 2 weeks.
You're relying on them.
Exactly. So why not rely on yourself and do it for yourself?
And it's scary. It's scary, man. That journey is scary. But when you take it, you trust yourself. You learn that, this life isn't how it was originally sold to you. Like, oh, you need to get this degree, you get this diploma, and then you show it to somebody, and they're gonna be like, oh, you're worth this much, dude. Because at the end of the day, like if you're talking corporations here, you could invent so much stuff for them, but at the end of the day, they own the patents, they own everything your team and the whole team around the world has worked on. So.
And what we mentioned earlier, because it is a numbers game, and that's how life works. The more we do, the more we get. And but if you limit yourself, to working for someone else, like you're limited to what you can do, and you're limited to what you can get. So why not do as much as you can, get as much as you can, and if you can do more, go for it. Yeah. It's a numbers game. That's life. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter what your business is. That's life.
Yeah. There's this philosophy I keep hearing in America. Do whatever you need to do to get that bread.
Yeah.
My only difference in philosophy there is like do whatever you can do without stepping on someone else's toes.
Correct. That is correct.
Because I don't know if you've paid attention to a lot of management in America. Like how managers manage like your favorite Chipotle restaurant, your favorite Subway. It's not the best, right? It's not the best, but this whole like exceptionalism is, and people are shocked every time. Like, oh, the staff is working so hard, back end and the front end, and the HR, and then every time it's the quarter end, they're like, oh, the owners of the company are like, I did that. But then you're like, no, you didn't. Like it was your whole team. Like, so I think.
I mean, for the company owner, the one that started. I mean, they started the structure. People learn from it, and that's how it goes. But at the same time, like for each employees, it is all about work ethic. Like you have to put in the work just to make it happen.
Yeah. And I think. If people are looking for new jobs, given the situation now, a lot of people are, not loyal to their company, which, I think you should be loyal to yourself. If you're sticking with a company that's paying you way less than you deserve and you've worked there for 8 years, take the offer, take the offer that's paying you more and giving you opportunity to grow. That's all I have to say there. But when you look for a new job, I'd say, and I'd want to hear your thoughts on this.
Okay.
When you look for a new job, I always suggest to people, look at the culture. Look at the management. Look at how management runs their ship. Look at what respect the manager gets and gives, because then that will answer so many.
It is. The culture does matter. I mean, I've had times where I applied for a job. I went to the interview. I'm looking at the culture. I'm looking around, like, the things that are going on, around the office space during the interviews. Even if I nailed the interview, even if they offer me something great, like, if I don't like the culture, I'm not coming back. Like, yeah, I just, like, if it's a culture where I don't see myself growing with it, or I don't see myself, like, I don't think I should be associated with it, I'm not gonna go with it, because part of me is gonna tell me don't do it, and I'm gonna listen to that part. Like, if something tells you don't do it, don't do it.
Now, if people are looking around and they're already so stressed, so let's help them out here. Let's help the viewers out here, because you guys have been watching this show so long, and we drop little gems here every now and then, so no need to mind. Leave your pickaxe at home. So, Nilo, somebody is looking for a job and they're like, what do you mean culture? Like, what are the 3 steps or 4 steps that I need to do in order to identify what the culture is? In your perspective, how does one do that?
I mean, for me, right when I get in, first I want to see, like, I look at the setting of things, like, how's everyone's desk, or how's the break room, that, like, just little things, right? But at the same time, I try to look at, like, the employees there, to see if they're, are they stressing out? Do they look happy? I mean, because if they look all stressed out, then I don't think I should, put myself in that category, because those kind of energy it's gonna get to you, and you don't want that type of energy. So one time I went for a job interview for, it was, I forgot what kind of company it was, but mainly it was a lot of guys in the office floor, dress shirts and tie. But at the same time, like, these guys look like it was, not a shark pit, but it was more like everyone stepping on each other's toes. And I mean, they didn't look too friendly. They look like, they all look like they're divorced or something. It looks like those type of situation, like midlife crisis, stepping on each other's toes. And I'm like looking at them like, I'm not gonna put myself in this category. Like, I can't mix myself into this. Like, I can't mix this with my network. I'm not doing that.
One thing for that specific point, because when I came to America, I was like 20 years old, right? 19 or 20 years old. I couldn't drink. That's all I know. I'm pretty sure 20 years old. And then I started, within 3 months, I was already like in a sales job, and I was, learning so, I was learning the country, learning rules, learning product, learning so much, at a extreme pace, because the pressure in sales is just like, the moment you sign your contract, the pressure is on, right? You got 3 months to produce something. You're on probationary for 3 months, and it's just, you could stay there for like a year, and you mess up 3 times, you're out, So in the probation period, everyone's looking at you, everyone's judging you, like, he's not gonna make it. He's not gonna make it. This guy's gonna, and then they're kind of like doing bets, subconscious bets, sometimes physical bets, like money, transactional bets. They're like, oh, who's gonna fizzle out and whatever. And something I saw as I aged up, because I always look around the room. I always talk to people. I always talk to my peers. I always talk to people in the organization umbrella. I just didn't talk to salespeople. I spoke to my HR a lot. I spoke to senior management. I talked to senior sales. I spoke to engineers. And then I found out in sales a lot. Okay, maybe I'm going to not limit sales, because it's bigger than that. There were certain individuals in the company, like what you were saying, the older men who, as a younger man, you're looking up to, you're like, okay, shoot, who's his partner? What's his life like? And then a lot of the things I found was like they were miserable. And I don't want to say that they were just miserable. You know, a lot of the thing is like sacrifice. What are they sacrificing for it? You know, what are they doing afterwards? And in that comparison, it's going to be a little bit tight because we know sales. Like sales is, you don't got time, right? You don't, because you don't got time. So I don't want to like, you know, make them sound like they're just being miserable. You don't got time to wash your clothes. You don't got time to hang out with your friends, spend time with your family. So that's where the miserable is. But there are some organizations that actually allow you as a salesperson to have more free time, you know. So don't just think because we're talking about sales or you know, property management, it's just limited to that. Yeah. No matter where you really are, you have to see the room. You got to see your peers and how they enjoy working there, and then make your decision. Because sometimes it will lead you down a road where you're suddenly like, you know what? I've invested too much time in this company to give up, right?
That happens.
That happens. When you first met the Philam Creatives is a great organization, you know, great organization for Filipino creatives and to meet under one umbrella. When you first met them, what did you think about their whole premise, their whole energy? Because I've met so many people from Philam, and I want to hear what your initial impression was.
I'd have to say great energy. And the great thing about these people is like they're willing to share their knowledge, share what they know, share their experience, and not like, you know, like leave you out of it. So this is what I like about it. I mean, I like helping them. I like, you know, doing what I can with them, you know, just to see it grow. But really though, like it is people with great energy, kind hearts. I mean, they've been so great. Like I met you through there, so
no,
you've been great, man.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, guys, you know, given that stuff now depends on which field you are right now. Because in the field we are right now, it seems kind of, you know, there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of energies are high. But in times like that, I think it's important to find community, guys. Because me and Nilo, like he said, like we weren't even in Philam. We're just like extension. Like we're in the field, we're in the circle of influence, and then when there are get-togethers, you know, we bump into each other and we're like, hey man, how can I help you? What can I do for you? You know?
Yeah, I mean, we have great times with them. We have you know, like there's definitely chemistry there, but at the same time we're learning. We're all learning from each other. So we learn how they do this, they learn how we do this, and they, you know, we learn from you and you learn from us. Like it's a great circle, man. It's pretty great.
So guys, when you're you know, when things are getting hard, it's always better to, you know, have a solid community around you and people that you trust. Speaking about trust, you know, we've heard 48 minutes of Nilo right now. So if you guys have any questions at all or any interest in getting some property or asking questions, please, guys, by all means, please reach out to him on Instagram at only Nilo. That is only fans. No, I'm kidding. Only Nilo. I was about to drop your only fans right there. But
I don't have one. If you know what, it would be called only pains.
knee pains. But guys, it has been an honor to host the one and only Nilo Sembrano on the show. Nilo, if you have any last words to our viewers, you have the floor.
Wow, I would say just, you know, because I know most of your viewers are creatives, just keep creating. That's all I gotta say. Keep creating and see where it takes you. And don't. Yeah. Here's another one. Like, this is what usually everyone says: don't give up. But seriously, it's a real thing though. Don't give up. Just keep going. Because you never know where it's gonna take. You never know who you're gonna meet. You never know what the opportunity is gonna present to you. You never know, man.
Beautiful. Goosebumps right in. It's very, I'm like, yo, are you talking to me, dude? And I want to piggyback off that because I think times are, the times that we're in are really difficult for a lot of people in the world. And just a quick one, because that's so important. I think what Nilo said right now is so important. And for me, no matter how long it takes, one foot in front of another.
Sure.
If you need to drag it, just make sure you make that next step.
There you go.
That is the message today, guys. Thank you for watching this episode of The Howl, and I will catch you on the next episode. Thank you very much.